Hello. How's it going? How's it going, everybody? Welcome back into another video. If you saw the thumbnail, if you're reading the title, if you saw all of that, we need to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So, I've kind of set ground rules for this We Need to Talk About series, where it's either going to be 90 to 100 or 95 to 100. Right now, it's 95 to 100. If I rate a movie 95 to 100, I'm going to make a video about it because that means I really, really, really loved the movie. And we have that today. I rated Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 a 95 out of 100. I really loved that damn movie. So today we're going to talk about it. How are you all doing? Hope you all having a great day. I have not been this excited walking out of a Marvel movie probably since No Way Home, in all honesty, because Marvel's been on kind of a down spiral. I made a video about it called The Marvel Problem, and if you watched that video, thank you so much. Marvel, it just hasn't been a great track record as of late with the content they've been releasing. So I don't have superhero fatigue, but I haven't been like happy with the product that's been brought to screen. That's kind of my biggest thing. Like everyone, the people have superhero fatigue, they're leaving Marvel, they're never going to watch Marvel again. And go ahead. I don't, no judgment or anything on your end. Do what you're going to do. For me, I still love Marvel. I'm still going to watch Marvel, but the excitement isn't there like it used to be, if that makes sense. But I was looking forward to Guardians Volume 3. I loved the first one. Second one I'm a little iffy on, but I love James Gunn. I love his vision. I love these characters. And so I was very excited to see how they were going to end this trilogy and how they were going to end this team of the Guardians. So before I go any further, spoiler warning. I'm going to spoil this movie. I'm going to, either if I know it or not, I'm going to give away spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. If you've not seen it and you don't want to be spoiled, click away now, go watch it, and then come back and let me know what you thought in the comments. Let's get into it, though. The first thing that I really love about this movie is just the writing. I think the writing here is very, 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 very well done. Numero uno on why I love the writing so much. It is a self-contained story. This is a self-contained story. It does not have any mention of Kang or the multiverse. There's no random MCU cameos. This is a self-contained Guardians of the Galaxy story. And I loved that. Because every movie nowadays has to interconnect in one way or another. And while that can be fun, that needs to give results. But I also think that takes away from the regular storytelling. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I don't mind that movie as much as other people do, but it's not an Ant-Man story. It is a, here's Kang, let's teach you about Kang and the quantum realm and setting up the next chapter of the MCU. It's not horrible, but it's not really an Ant-Man story either. So it wasn't as great of a movie. The thing I loved about this was, again, it's a self-contained story, so they have all the ability, all the room in the world to just talk about these characters, which is perfect because at the end of the movie, we have a very, 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 very different Guardians roster. The roster is basically torn to shreds and then reinserted with new characters. So that's important for this movie to wrap up a lot of the stories of our main Guardians, which we'll get into in a little bit. This is Rocket's movie. It's his story, which seems weird because he's basically out of commission for the entire movie. But it really, at the core, is his story. We learn his backstory. We learn why he is the way that he is. And it is kind of, I don't want to say a redemptive arc because he doesn't need to be redeemed, but more of a reckoning for Rocket to kind of face his past demons and become a better person on the other end. And I really liked that. The way James Gunn wrote this is with the utmost passion and love and care for these characters and for this particular story. James Gunn's passion is all over this project, from the directing to the soundtrack to the writing as a whole. You feel that passion from start to finish on every little inch and every little detail. You can tell that James Gunn cares about this movie. You don't get that a lot with these superhero movies nowadays. There are very rare instances where you can actually feel the director's passion out on screen. The Marvel machine is a real thing, and therefore there's not a lot of room for creativity and for personal touch when it comes to directors and how they direct these movies. There's a lot of machine learning things that are there that you just have to do. But with this movie, this is James Gunn's movie, and you know it, and you feel it, and you can feel that passion, which I really loved. I really, really loved. I also want to make this point too. The CGI here is good. This is a beautiful movie to look at. And it's even more impressive because it's a space movie with weird sets and weird environments. But this is probably the best that a Marvel movie has looked CGI-wise probably since Endgame. I'm going to say that. This is the best that the CGI has looked. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. Like, these CGI, these VFX artists are worked to the absolute bone, and they deserve better. But with that quantity over quality, which I talked about in my older video, that leads to CGI being very spotty and not being very great. I love now that Marvel is pivoting back to quality over quantity. I think it might still be a year or so until we start to see the fruits of that labor, but this movie made me feel better about the potential future and direction of VFX and CGI in Marvel. This was a beautiful movie to look at, and I will admit that. The High Evolutionary was an interesting character. I don't think he's one of the best villains in the MCU. I think there's more depth to his character, specifically because he is so involved with Rocket's backstory. So even further, we hate this character. But he also is a character that has interesting ideas, and while I don't think anyone can really agree with them, it's not a just one-dimensional evil bad guy. Like, there's depth to his arc and his story, which I think was good. Not one of the top villains, but I don't think he's at the bottom either. I think that overall he was well written and well done. And kind of the major thing here that I think really affected me, and I think will affect most people, is this is just a very fitting conclusion to our Guardian story. It's sad. It is. I got teary-eyed multiple times, especially at the end when I realized, and it might just be nostalgia talking, but it's not. We love these characters. We love this team, and to see these characters go off and break off from the team, in which we may never see again, it's sad. Now, I'm very happy that, and again, spoilers if you have not seen the movie, I'm very happy that no one died, thankfully, because while I love a good death in the MCU, and I think that Tony's death is one of the best things they could have done narrative-wise in this franchise, it would have been incredibly sad to see one of the Guardians go because they are such a beloved group. So I'm very happy that they did not kill anyone, but they let them go off and do their own things. Star-Lord is now back on Earth with his grandpa. Gamora is out with the Ravengers. I don't think we're ever going to see Gamora again. Spoiler alert, because Zoe Saldana said she's basically done. I don't think we'll ever see Gamora again. That was probably it for Gamora. Drax, we're never going to see again. Dave Bautista has already said he's out. I'm interested to see where Nebula shows up. I think there is a lot of room for Nebula to show up, although she's staying on Nowhere with Drax. Mantis. Are we ever going to see Mantis again? She's going off on her own to kind of live her own life. I mean, the entire Guardians team as we know it is gone besides Rocket and Groot. And we have a really great new team with Kraglin and Adam Warlock, just to name a few. There's a really nice baseline team there, but Again, it's very sad to watch this group that we know and we love break up and leave. While the scenarios are all happy and hopeful and cheerful, I really love the core Guardians group, but I will come to love the new Guardians group as well. But it's not just that, though. It's also very bittersweet because it's it for James Gunn. And again, you see how passionate James Gunn is about these characters and about this story. How are you going to do Guardians without James Gunn? I'm a little concerned if there's going to be like another Guardians movie or project. Of course, we'll see them show up in, probably Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. But if there's like another Guardians project, I'm a little concerned about not having James Gunn at the helm. How is that going to go? So it's very bittersweet. It's very sad to say goodbye to not only this really awesome group of ragtag heroes, but to the mastermind behind them, James Gunn. It's a sad day. I'm very happy and excited to see what he does at DC, but it's bittersweet to say the least. This is a great movie. It is. I have been one of the people that got caught up in saying this is probably the best thing that's been put out since Endgame. I love No Way Home. I think it has its flaws as well. I did rate No Way Home higher, so I will still say that that's the best thing to come out since Endgame, but I think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 might be a close second. That was a lot. That was a lot to break down. I love this movie. And I already said that, but I do. I really like this movie. I think you should watch it. And I was talking to one of my coworkers last night at a work outing, and he had said, "Oh, I'm done with Marvel." And I said, "I respect that, but just give Guardians of Galaxy Volume 3 a watch. After that, you can ride off into the sunset if you want. But this takes us back to the good Marvel. The classic Marvel, the nostalgic Marvel that we know and love. This is a properly executed Marvel story in the Marvel Cinematic Universe." I really liked it. I really did. And I'm very sad that that group is done, but I'm very hopeful for the future. And also, I didn't mention, I'm very interested to see where Star-Lord ends up next, because if you saw the post-credit scene, he ain't done. So we'll see. But guys, I want to hear your comments down below. I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. What did you think of Guardians Volume 3? I think it's overwhelmingly positive. But if you don't like it, let me know. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to have a Succession video come out probably at the end of the month when Succession, the finale, premieres. I love Succession. It's probably one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. So I want to talk about it. That'll come out later in the month, and then we'll have the May recap as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, I have a feeling we will be having more of these conversations in the summer with some of the movies that are coming out. And yeah, so like I said, when I did my overall video, I ain't going anywhere. I'm just not putting out as much content as I used to. But I like being able to sit down and talk about the movies that I love, and I love this movie. So make sure you go check it out. But guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, week, month, whenever we see each other next. And we'll see you in the next video.